Hey guys, Alex here with Serious Goose Games. Welcome back to our Unity Tactics RPG tutorial. In the last episode, we added auto positioning for our units to attack enemy units. Today, we're going to actually make it so they can attack. Now, it won't be super visually interesting, but we can make it more exciting with animations and effects later. To start out, we're going to hop right into our unit script, and we're going to add a couple variables to represent health, max health, and attack damage. So we'll do a public int max health, a public int health, and then a public int attack damage. Now we're going to hop on over to our unit stats, and we're going to add a couple of new stats. The first one is going to be a public float called endurance, and this is going to handle like physical defense and health. Then we'll have a public float for strength. This will be our physical damage and other various things related to strength, like carrying heavy things. So with those two, we can update our constructor. So we'll create a float called new endurance, and then a float called new strength. And then we'll update those accordingly. So endurance is equal to new endurance, and strength is equal to new strength. Now we can pop on over to our unit script, and inside start, because we are using the constructor, we need to pass in values for those new stats that we made. So we're just going to do random.range again, 0 to 100. Eventually we'll have classes that will give us kind of base values for all these, but until then, we'll just stick with the randoms. Now we're going to set our max health to be equal to 1, so that we always have a minimum of 1, plus mathf.round to int. We're going to put in our stats.endurance times 0.25f. So our maximum health is always going to be a quarter of our endurance stat. Then we'll set our health to be equal to max health. And then we'll set our attack damage to be equal to 1. So we always do a minimum of 1 damage. 1 plus mathf.round to int. And we'll do stats.strength times 0.05f. Next, we're going to create some helper functions to deal with health and damage and stuff. So we'll do a public void called heal, and we'll pass in an int amount. Health is going to plus equal amount. And then if health is greater than our max health, then we're going to set health to be equal to max health. And that'll kind of clamp it so we don't overheal. Then we're going to do another public void called take damage. We're going to pass in an int amount to this one. And then health minus equals amount. And then if our health is less than 0, or less than or equal to 0, then we're going to set owner.playerUnits.remove this unit, because it no longer exists, and then we're going to destroy it. Now for our attack function, we're going to want to use the getHeuristic function over in Grid Manager. So we're going to hop over there, and we are going to set that to be public. So public int getHeuristic. Now we have to create the actual attack function, so let's head over to unit. And we'll do a public void attack, and we need to pass in a unit as the target. And the first thing we're going to do in here is create a grid manager reference. So grid manager called grid manager. And we'll set that to be equal to owner.gridManager. And that's just going to make some things a little nicer to look at. So inside here, we're going to create 2 tile references, and this is just purely to make it easier to read. So tile, attacker tile, is going to be equal to owner.gridManager.getTile, and we'll pass in our grid position. And then we're going to create another tile. This will be called target tile. We'll set this to be equal to owner.gridManager.getTile. We'll pass in our target.grid position. And now we're going to do if owner.gridManager.getHeuristic. We'll pass in our attacker tile and our target tile. If the heuristic is less than or equal to our attack range, then we're going to do target.takeDamage. We'll pass in our attack damage. And the last thing we're going to do is modify onPointer down. So we have quite a bit going on in here. So inside this if statement here, we're going to create those same 2 tile references. So tile, attacker tile is equal to owner.gridManager.getTile, pass in grid position. And then tile, target tile is equal to owner.gridManager.getTile. And then we're going to pass in player.selectedUnit.grid position. And then we're going to do if owner.gridmanager.getHeuristic. We'll pass in our attacker tile and our target tile. If either of those are greater than our player.selectedUnit.attack_range, then we're going to return. So if the distance between our attacker tile and our target tile are bigger than our attack range, we'll bounce out. We're not going to attack. Next, underneath where we get the closest attack tile, we're going to grab our player.selectedUnit.path. We're going to set this to be equal to owner.gridmanager.getPath. We're going to pass in our target tile and our closest attack tile. Now, before we move on, I just realized that we've got these names kind of backwards. So we're going to rename our attacker tile to target tile. We're going to rename our original target tile to attacker tile. The only reason that's working as well as it is because I misspelled it the first time. All right. So now we're going to do an if statement. If player.selectedUnit.path.count equals 0, meaning there's no path, then we're going to do player.selectedUnit.attack. We're going to pass in this unit. If path actually returns something, then, if path actually returns something, then we're going to move to it. So we'll do else and put our player.selectedUnit.move to inside there. So I'll clean this up later, but for now, save everything and add back to Unity. So before we test this out, there's actually a mistake I made because I was looking at the wrong thing when I was going through and scripting. This line right here, where we set the path, we're actually going to get rid of that. Later, we're going to replace it with something better. And this does invalidate our auto positioning, but we're going to kind of overhaul this soon anyway. So go ahead and save. And the line we're getting rid of is player.selectedUnit.path and getting the path. We don't need to do that yet. So auto positioning will be disabled for now, but attacking will be enabled. And one of those is a little more important than the other. So now if I select my units, I move them within range. If we take a look at the enemy in the inspector, we can look at health. If I attack, you can see it's going down. And if I keep clicking, eventually our enemy unit is going to be destroyed. So you might notice it's gone in the inspector. And that's because in take damage, we don't want to destroy this. We want to destroy game object. So now if we do that again, we go in and we attack. Now it destroys the unit. So obviously we still have some issues. Things got a little borked at the end there. So we'll tackle those issues as we expand our combat system. In the next video, we're going to do a little bit of cleanup though. Our code is getting a little spaghetti and it's a good idea to clean things up pretty regularly. So in the next video, we're going to focus on kind of refactoring things, cleaning things up, making them better and functional. That's all for today though. So if you like the series so far, hit like so other devs can find this series and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Let me know in the comments what your favorite RPG class is. I usually lean towards rogues, especially pirate-themed ones. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Alex with Serious Goose Games, and I'll see you in the next one.